Looking now at the Mid-Con project, where we'll spend most of our time today. Here's the existing Mid-Con project, which concludes in mid-November of this year. You can see the location of the energy facility and the 4 satellite transfer stations. Transfer station to be developed here, possibly here, and possibly, possibly here in the future. Some of the things we'll talk about later. Mid-Con deliveries come from 2 different sources: municipalities in blue and private sector contractors in red. Very significant misunderstanding is that CRA serves more than half of its customers are private sector holders. The municipalities are the reason we exist, but municipalities depend quite significantly on private sector haulers to provide garbage collection and disposal. The recovery, this is a 7-month period here, has started to show itself in the Mid-Con project as well. Actually, that's an 8-month graph. That's through 2029. Looking at tonnage, historically, the plant has always used spot tonnage. That is non-contract tonnage that we pick up the phone and ask for when we have room in the plant. We've depended on that more in recent years, mainly because of the economic situation, but we hope to depend on it less in the future. The significance is difficult to show here. One of the significant controllable costs of our operation is diversion. In contracting with communities that need to have daily waste disposal, the garbage has to go away. You're a town, your citizens expect it to be picked up. We need to have a place to take it. The plant is only capable of providing X number of tons of disposal, roughly 840,000 tons a year at maximum. And there is a daily maximum as well. Unfortunately, the garbage delivery is very seasonal. We'll get many more tons. 17,000 tons a week in July and 13,000 tons a week in February. In February, very often we pick up the phone and ask for garbage that may come from other places. That is the spot waste. Not a problem. We typically have to discount and bring it in, and that affects our operating costs. However, it's clearly beneficial, as long as we meet our marginal costs, to attract that garbage in and run the plant, generate the power, and the revenues that come with it. The problem comes when, in the summer months, we have too much garbage, and we have to push some of that garbage to other disposal locations. In that case, it's a very expensive problem. In fact, we pay up to about $85 a ton to move garbage from our facilities to other places, typically out-of-state locations. So spot waste is an important tool utilized by CRA and other disposal providers to ensure maximum capacity utilization of our assets and minimize the costs to the system. Looking at the Mid-Con project recyclables, we'll see some significant pickups here. The impact of recycling by single stream method at Mid-Con is just about worn off. We've just about maximized the opportunities associated with growing our recycling rate by implementing single stream. Just about every town in the Mid-Con region has adopted single stream. Every one of them saw double-digit increases. Some of them dramatic double-digit increases, 70 and 80% increases. The next big step in recycling is not going to be a means of getting more containers out of the waste stream. It's going to be something else, probably composting. But it's a great story to tell. You'll hear lots of complaints by the powers that be about Connecticut's recycling numbers stagnating, and that's true for the state as a whole. It is not true for CRA towns. We have had dramatic increases primarily in recent years due to our single stream embrace, which CRA started back in 2008. But if you're a CRA town, your recycling has not stagnated. You have seen continued forward progress in the last 8 years. Looking at net power generated in megawatt hours, a significant chart to keep in mind. We've been declining in past years due to the lack of capital investment, primarily in these years. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the wake of the Enron mess. But we have invested a very significant amount of money since the closure of the Enron debacle. Let's move on to this one. Here is the capital spending. As you can see, almost nothing in the initial years of the Enron mess, and until the legal situation was straightened out and legal bills paid, essentially the end of the New Hartford power plant, the New Hartford lawsuit sparked our ability to be able to invest in the plant, and we've done so both in the power block facility and the electric generating facility and the waste processing facility, the 3 blocks that make up the Mid-Con project. Our contractors, as you know, with the expiration of the Mid-Con bonds, power contract, and MSAs with the towns, we also had a coincident expiration of the operators' contracts for the facilities. We previously had 2 different major contractors, the MDC operating the waste processing facility and Covanta Incorporated operating both the PBF and the EGF, power block facility, electric generating facility. Those contracts expired. The contract for the waste processing facility run by Metropolitan District, MDC, expired in December. The remaining 2 facility contracts expire in May. So we went out to bid about 2 years ago in a very significant effort to find the best operator for this very significant job here. We did look at operating it ourselves, but by statute, CRA is encouraged to use private industry in its operations. So with that in mind, we went out to bid and we found a good selection of contractors and decided on NAES, N-A-E-S, North American Services, to operate the entire facility. So we will be losing 2 contractors and gaining 1. The transition for operation of the Mid-Connecticut facility, waste processing facility, got underway in December and has proceeded quite well. In fact, just this week, they have met the full capacity utilization of the facility on the WPF side. In May, they will step over the fence, so to speak, and go to the EGF, electric generating facility, and PBF, and relieve Covanta. We're expecting real good things from NAES, our contractor. We will have a lot more opportunity to impact how the plant is maintained, how the plant is, how we invest in the plant, and how the plant is operated. We're the operator of the plant, but our contractor is quite skilled, quite experienced. They run 130 some odd plants across the state for third-party owners, just like CRA. So we're anticipating that to be a very good partnership. Our yield management initiatives have been very successful. That's primarily, yield management is getting the most out of our revenue opportunities, minimizing our spot waste diversions, maximizing our spot waste price. We've put a big effort in the last few years into ensuring we get the waste we're supposed to get at the price we're supposed to get it, and that we're properly sized and attracting the right amount of waste at the right times of the year at the maximum price. Yield management is a term you might hear kicked around in the airline industry. The worst thing an airline can do is send an airline someplace with empty seats. That's our goal here. The worst thing we can do is operate a day with a ton of capacity not utilized, because that's gone forever. Just like a flight from Hartford to Las Vegas with an empty seat is a revenue that's gone forever. A day where we have a ton missing from our operation is revenue, both from tipping fee and from electricity that is lost forever. Net operating cost reductions, we've achieved quite a bit of those. We're down on the administrative side about 19% headcount, significant savings, believe it or not, in legal spending. On the operating side, some of the investments we've made from a capital standpoint have really started to pay off, and we'll see that in our next slide here. Our capacity utilization, reliability, boiler availability, throughput, and unscheduled outages, 5 very significant operation metrics that we engineers look at all the time, have all hit bottoms in recent years and are now climbing back up. All of these are tied very closely to our yield management. If our boiler is not available, reliable, we can't get the throughput in, we can't get the capacity utilization. With the investments in the plant, we're now able to get these things. We've turned the corner, so to speak. Our unscheduled outages have dropped. It used to be a routine practice. For those of you who go to the CRA monthly board meetings, you'll recall in my president's report, I talk about the unscheduled outage. I used to have 2 pages of unscheduled outages lists. 5 hours here, 8 hours there. We're down to 3 or 4 entries in a monthly reading of unscheduled outage. So remarkable payback on our very significant capital investments.